Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are viewing from in the world. Welcome to the Silent Forgotten. I'm your host, Chris, and today I will be sharing with you the life story of and visiting the final resting place of the Canadian politician and entrepreneur James Robert Stratton, May 3rd, 1859 to April 19th, 1916. James Robert Stratton was a Canadian politician and entrepreneur. He represented the electoral district of Peterborough West as a municipal politician, or MP, in the Canadian House of Commons in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, from October 26, 1908 to September 20th, 1911. He was born as James Robert Stratton to Irish immigrant and customs collector James Stratton, 1831 to 1890, and his Canadian-born wife Susanna Armstrong Stratton, 1825 to 1916, in Millbrook, Ontario, Canada, on May 3rd, 1857, while some sources say May 3rd, 1859. He was educated locally and was primarily a businessman who was a publisher of the local Peterborough Examiner newspaper in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, and also a seller of books, stationery, and wallpaper, among other items, before entering politics. He served as a member of the Board of Education in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, and as a Provincial Secretary and Registrar from 1899 to 1904. He then decided to run for a seat in the Canadian House of Commons in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and was elected to succeed the outgoing Canadian Liberal Party member Robert Richard Hall, 1865 to 1938, after he did not run for re-election during the Canadian federal election of 1908. He began his term on October 26, 1908, and continued until September 20th, 1911, when his term ended. He ran unsuccessfully for the same seat in the Canadian House of Commons in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, during the Canadian federal election in 1911. Following his term in the Canadian House of Commons in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, he was succeeded in office by the incoming Conservative Party member John Hampden Burnham, 1860 to 1940, on September 21st, 1911. He served a total of 1,060 days, 10 months, and 26 days in office. Following his time in the Canadian House of Commons in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, he returned to his publishing and business pursuits until his death on April 19, 1916. His death was quite unusual. He had traveled to Hot Springs, Arkansas while working and then became seriously ill. He was put under the care of a physician named Professor K Fiege, who then put him on 36 days of fasting with only water allowed. During the next 74 hours of his life, he suffered from an unstoppable hiccuping. In an effort to stop the hiccuping, Professor K Fiege used a belt to tighten his chest. The incredible pain was only relieved once, and the belt strap was unbuckled. Unfortunately, he passed away in Hot Springs, Arkansas on April 19, 1916, at the age of 56 or 59. After his death, Professor K Fiege was arrested for manslaughter. Following his unusual passing, his body was returned home and he was buried in Little Lake Cemetery in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. He was married to Eliza Jane Ormond Stratton, 1852 to 1938, in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, on August 17, 1880. His wife Eliza passed away on May 2, 1938, at the age of 78, and she is also buried in Little Lake Cemetery in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. The geographical township of Stratton in the Nipissing District was named after him. Hi guys, so here I am back at Little Lake in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. We're going to be doing another grave visit here today. Today we are going to be visiting a Canadian politician, publisher, entrepreneur, businessman, Provincial Secretary and Registrar from 1899 to 1904. He served in the Canadian House of Commons in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, representing Peterborough West as a member of the Liberal Party for 22 years. And he had an unusual death, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. Just tell you a little bit about the cemetery again. So the cemetery was found in 1850 to replace the existing cemetery in downtown Peterborough, which is now Confederation Park. All the bodies were moved here and other locations by around in 1854. Now, this is the first public community cemetery, non-profit cemetery in Canada West. The original cemetery, which I said was downtown Peterborough, was closed in 1854, and all the bodies were moved here. So this is 32.8 acres, which is about 13.3 hectares. I'm not sure of how many interments are here, but there are lots. They're still going on today. So the cemetery is roughly about 173 years old in 2023. So I'll just take you up to visit James Robert Stratton, 1857 to 1916. So his unusual death. He went to Hot Springs, Arkansas for some treatment. I'm not sure what it is. I'll have to do more research and put that in the bio section. And he was being treated by a man named Professor K Fiege, or Fiege. Now, the doctor put him on, or the professor put him on a fasting diet for 36 hours. He could have nothing but water. Now, this resulted in James Robert Stratton getting uncontrollable hiccups. Now, to stop the hiccups, the professor or doctor had a bright idea to strap a belt, a waist belt, around his stomach area and his chest area to stop the hiccuping. Now, unfortunately, this resulted in the Honorable James Robert Stratton passing away from this unfortunate hiccuping and other things that resulted because of the carelessness of the professor thinking he was helping the situation, but of course he just made it worse. Now, the news, of course, reached his wife in Canada, and after some inquests and stuff, the professor or doctor, sounds like he was a quack or something, not sure, and he was arrested for manslaughter in the death of James Robert Stratton. Now, I couldn't find no more information about it exactly, so if I do, I will post it in the bio section. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, again, he served 22 years in the Canadian House of Commons in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. He was a publisher of books, and he sold books and stationery and everything else. Businessman, entrepreneur. He was the publisher of our local newspaper, the Peterborough Examiner, and he also served as a Provincial Secretary and Registrar from 1899 to 1904. I'll just show you this neat little grave over here. This is what my grave will look like. I'm going to be buried with my mom. These are cremated ashes, so that's pretty neat. That's Stephen Mayhew. Rest in peace, Stephen. So, the gravestone of James Robert Stratton, the Honourable James Robert Stratton, is right here. I will show you the back. It's a neat little stone. So, a little bit more over there. I'll take you down there. I'll show you down. We haven't been down there yet. So this is the back of the stone, family stone. Of course, this is the front of it. Now it says, "In loving memory of Honourable James Robert Stratton, dearly beloved husband of Eliza Jane Ormond, born May 3rd, 1859. For 22 years he represented West Peterborough in Ontario and Dominion Parliaments. Died April 19th, 1960. By wisdom and courage, by constancy and virtue, his wife Eliza Jane Stratton, 1859 to 1938. And of course, the family name Stratton up there in big letters. And then down here, we have this neat stone. I'm not sure what that is. Could be an infant in there. But, alright guys, that concludes... Oh, sorry, I'm going to show you down here. That's right. So, that does conclude the visiting of James Robert Stratton. Thank you, sir, for your service. Hope you're resting in peace. Your unfortunate accident and death. So anyways, I'm going to end it here because it looks like there's some people down there visiting and I don't want to catch people on video and get into trouble. So if you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and give the video a thumbs up. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much. Take care of each other and stay safe. Bye for now.